And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, and receive from each of them a rod by their kinships, from all the leaders of the tribes, 12 rods, and write the name of each one on his rod. But the name of Aaron shall be for the tribe of Levi, and one rod separately shall contain all their families. And you shall place these in the tabernacle of the covenant, before the testimony, where I will speak to you. Whomever of these I will choose, his rod will germinate, and so shall I restrain the complaints of the sons of Israel before me, by which they murmur against you. And Moses spoke to the sons of Israel, and all the leaders gave him rods, one for each tribe, and there were 12 rods, aside from the rod of Aaron. And when Moses had placed these before the Lord, in the tabernacle of the testimony, returning on the following day, he found that the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi had germinated, and that the swelling buds had opened into flowers, which, spreading their petals, were formed into those of an almond tree. Therefore Moses brought out all the rods from the sight of the Lord to all the sons of Israel. And they saw, and each one received their rods. And the Lord said to Moses, Carry back the rod of Aaron into the tabernacle of the testimony, so that it may be kept there as a sign of the rebellion of the sons of Israel, and so that their complaints may be quieted before me, lest they die. And Moses did just as the Lord had instructed. Then the sons of Israel said to Moses, Behold, we have been consumed, we have been ruined. Whoever approaches to the tabernacle of the Lord dies. Will we all be wiped away, even to total annihilation? And the Lord said to Aaron, You and your sons, and the house of your father with you, shall carry the iniquity of the sanctuary, and you and your sons together shall bear the sins of your priesthood. But take to yourselves also your brothers from the tribe of Levi, and the scepter of your father, and may they be prepared, and may they minister to you. Then you and your sons shall minister in the tabernacle of the testimony, and the Levites shall stand watch by your precepts, and for all the works of the tabernacle, yet in such a manner that they shall not approach the vessels of the sanctuary and of the altar, lest both they die, and you perish at the same time. But they may be with you, and they may watch over the care of the tabernacle and all its ceremonies. A foreigner shall not be mixed with you. Watch over the care of the sanctuary and over the ministry of the altar, lest an indignation may rise over the sons of Israel. I have given your brothers, the Levites, to you from the midst of the sons of Israel, and I have delivered them as a gift to the Lord, in order to serve in the ministries of his tabernacle. But as for you and your sons, guard the priesthood, for all that pertains to the service of the altar and of what is beyond the veil shall be exercised by the priests. If any outsider will approach, he shall be killed. And the Lord said to Aaron, Behold, I have given you custody of my first fruits. Everything that is sanctified by the sons of Israel I have delivered to you and your sons for the office of the priesthood by everlasting ordinances. Therefore you shall receive these from the things that are sanctified and offered to the Lord. Every offering and sacrifice and whatever is repaid to me on behalf of sin and also for offenses, and which becomes the Holy of Holies, shall be for you and for your sons. You shall eat it in the sanctuary. Only the males shall eat from it, because it has been consecrated for you. But the first fruits, which the sons of Israel shall vow and offer, I have given to you and to your sons, as well as to your daughters, by a perpetual right. Whoever is clean in your house shall eat them. All the innermost of the oil, and of the wine, and of the grain, whatever first fruits they offer to the Lord, I have given to you. All the first of the crops, which the soil produces, and which are carried to the Lord, shall fall to your use. Whoever is clean in your house shall eat them. All that the sons of Israel shall repay by vow shall be yours. Whatever goes out first from the womb of all flesh, which they offer to the Lord, whether from men or from cattle, shall be your right. Yet only in so far as, for the firstborn of man, you shall accept a price. And every animal that is unclean you shall cause to be redeemed. And its redemption shall be, after 1 month, 5 shekels of silver, by the weight of the sanctuary. A shekel has 20 obols. But the firstborn of a cow, or of a sheep, or of a goat, you shall not cause to be redeemed, because they have been sanctified to the Lord. Thus their blood you shall pour out upon the altar, and their fat you shall burn as a most sweet odor to the Lord. Yet truly the flesh shall fall to your use, just as the consecrated breast and the right shoulder shall be yours. All the first fruits of the sanctuary, which the sons of Israel offer to the Lord, I have given to you and to your sons, as well as to your daughters, as a perpetual right. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before the Lord, for you and for your sons. And the Lord said to Aaron, In their land you shall possess nothing, neither shall you have a portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance in the midst of the sons of Israel. But I have given to the sons of Levi all the tithes of Israel as a possession, for the ministry by which they serve me in the tabernacle of the covenant, so that the sons of Israel may no longer approach to the tabernacle, nor commit deadly sin. Only the sons of Levi may serve me in the tabernacle, and may carry the sins of the people. It shall be an everlasting ordinance in your generations. They shall possess nothing else, being content with the oblation of tithes, which I have separated for their uses and necessities. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Instruct the Levites, and also declare to them, When you will receive from the sons of Israel the tithes which I have given to you, offer their first fruits to the Lord, that is, the 10th part of a tenth, so that it may be accounted to you as an oblation of the first fruits, as much from the threshing floors as from the oil and wine presses, and offer the first fruits of everything from which you receive tithes to the Lord, and give them to Aaron the priest. Everything which you shall offer from the tithes, and which you shall separate as gifts to the Lord, shall be the finest and most select. And you shall say to them, If you offer the noble and the better of the tithes, it shall be accounted to you as if you had given from the first fruits of the threshing floor and of the oil and wine presses. And you shall eat these in all your places, both you and your families, because it is your price for the ministry, by which you serve in the tabernacle of the testimony. And you shall not sin in this way, by reserving the excellent and fat things for yourselves, lest you pollute the oblations of the sons of Israel, and lest you die. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, This is the ritual that the Lord has appointed for a victim. Instruct the sons of Israel so that they may bring to you a red cow of full maturity, in which there is no blemish, and which has not carried a yoke. And you shall deliver it to Eleazar the priest, who, having led it out beyond the camp, shall immolate it in the sight of all. And dipping his finger in its blood, he shall sprinkle it 7 times opposite the door of the tabernacle. And he shall burn it while all are watching, delivering into the flame, not only its skin and flesh, but also the blood and dung, likewise cedar wood and hyssop, and twice dyed scarlet he shall cast into the flame, by which the cow is consumed. And then finally, having washed his garments and his body, he shall enter into the camp, and he shall be deeply stained until evening. Then he also who had burned it shall wash his garments and his body, and he shall be unclean until evening. Then a clean man shall gather the ashes of the cow, and he shall pour them out beyond the camp, in a very pure place, so that they may be preserved for the multitude of the sons of Israel, and for the water of aspersion, because the cow was burned for sin. And when he who had carried the ashes of the cow will have washed his garments, he shall be unclean until evening. The sons of Israel and the newcomers who live among them shall have this as a holy and perpetual right. Whoever touches the corpse of a man, and is, because of this, unclean for 7 days, shall be sprinkled from this water on the 3rd and 7th days, and so shall he be cleansed. But if he was not sprinkled on the 3rd day, he is not able to be cleansed on the 7th. Anyone who will have touched the dead body of a human life, and who has not been sprinkled with this mixture, pollutes the tabernacle of the Lord, and he shall perish out of Israel. For not having been sprinkled with the water of expiation, he shall be unclean, and his filth shall remain upon him. This is the law of a man who dies in a tent. All who enter into his tent, and all the vessels which are there, shall be polluted for 7 days. The vessel that has no cover or binding over it shall be unclean. If anyone in the field will have touched the corpse of a man who was killed, or who died on his own, or his bone, or his grave, he shall be unclean for 7 days. And they shall take some of the ashes from the burning and the sin offering, and they shall pour living waters over them into a vessel, and into it a man who is clean shall dip hyssop, and he shall sprinkle from it the entire tent and all its articles, and the men who were polluted by means of contact. And so, in this manner, what is clean shall purify what is unclean on the 3rd and 7th days. And having been expiated on the 7th day, he shall wash both himself and his garments, and he shall be unclean until evening. If anyone has not been expiated by this ritual, his soul shall perish from the midst of the church, for he has polluted the sanctuary of the Lord, and he has not been sprinkled with purifying waters. This precept shall be an everlasting ordinance. Likewise, the one who has sprinkled the waters shall wash his garments. All who will have touched the waters of expiation shall be unclean until evening. Whatever has been touched by something unclean will itself be made unclean. And the soul who touches any of these things shall become unclean until evening. And the sons of Israel and the entire multitude went into the desert of Sin in the 1st month, and the people stayed at Kadesh. And Miriam died there, and she was buried in the same place. And when the people were in need of water, they came together against Moses and Aaron. And as it turned into sedition, they said, "If only we had perished among our brothers in the sight of the Lord. Why have you led away the church of the Lord into the wilderness, so that both we and our cattle would die? Why did you cause us to ascend from Egypt, and why have you led us into this most wretched place, which is not able to be sown, which does not produce figs or vines or pomegranates, and which, moreover, does not even have water to drink?" And Moses and Aaron, dismissing the multitude, entered the tabernacle of the covenant, and they fell prone on the ground, and they cried out to the Lord, and they said, "O Lord God, listen to the outcry of this people, and open for them from your storehouse a fountain of living water, so that, being satisfied, their murmuring may cease." And the glory of the Lord appeared over them. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the rod, and gather the people, you and your brother Aaron, and speak to the rock before them, and it shall bestow waters. And when you have brought forth water from the rock, the entire multitude and their cattle shall drink." Therefore Moses took the rod, which was in the sight of the Lord, just as he had instructed him. And having gathered the multitude before the rock, he said to them, "Listen, you who are rebellious and unbelieving, would we be able to cast out water from this rock?" And when Moses had lifted up his hand, striking the stone twice with the rod, very great waters went forth, so much so that the people and their cattle were able to drink. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not believe me, so as to sanctify me before the sons of Israel, you shall not lead this people into the land, which I will give to them." This is the water of contradiction, where the sons of Israel were quarreling against the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. Meanwhile, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. They said, "Your brother Israel says this, 'You know of all the hardships which have overtaken us, how our fathers descended into Egypt, and we lived there for a long time, and the Egyptians afflicted both us and our fathers, and how we cried out to the Lord, and he heeded us and sent an angel who led us away from Egypt. Behold, we are situated in the city of Kadesh, which is at the extremity of your borders, and we beg you to permit us to cross through your land. We will not go through the fields, nor through the vineyards. We will not drink the waters of your wells, but we will travel by the public ways, neither turning aside to the right nor to the left, until we have passed your borders." Edom responded to them, "You shall not cross through me, otherwise I will meet you armed." And the sons of Israel said, "We will travel by the well-trodden path, and if we or our cattle drink from your waters, we will give you what is just. There shall be no difficulty in the price, only let us cross through quickly." But he answered, "You shall not cross." And immediately he went out to meet them with a countless multitude and a strong hand. Neither was he willing to agree to their petition to concede passage through his borders. For this reason, Israel diverted away from him. And when they had moved the camp from Kadesh, they arrived at Mount Hor, which is at the borders of the land of Edom, where the Lord spoke to Moses. "Let Aaron," he said, "go to his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given to the sons of Israel, because he did not believe my mouth at the waters of contradiction. Take Aaron and his son with him, and lead them on to Mount Hor. And when you have stripped the father of his vestments, you shall put them on Eleazar, his son. Aaron shall be gathered, and shall die there." Moses did just as the Lord had instructed, and they ascended Mount Hor, in the sight of the entire multitude. And when he had despoiled Aaron of his vestments, he clothed his son Eleazar with them. And when Aaron had died at the top of the mountain, Moses came down with Eleazar. And the entire multitude, seeing that Aaron lay dead, wept over him for 30 days, throughout all their families. And when King Arad the Canaanite, who was living toward the south, had heard this, namely, that Israel had arrived by the way of spies, he fought against them, and proving to be the victor, he led away prey from them. But Israel, obliging himself by a vow to the Lord, said, "If you deliver this people into my hand, I will wipe away their cities." And the Lord heard the prayers of Israel, and he delivered the Canaanite, whom they put to death, overthrowing his cities. And they called the name of that place Hormah, that is, anathema. Then they set out from Mount Hor, by the way that leads to the Red Sea, to circle around the land of Edom. And the people began to tire of their journey and hardships. And speaking against God and Moses, they said, "Why did you lead us away from Egypt so as to die in the wilderness? Bread is lacking, there are no waters. Our soul is now nauseous over this very light food." For this reason, the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, which wounded or killed many of them. And so they went to Moses, and they said, "We have sinned, because we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray, so that he may take away these serpents from us." And Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to him, "Make a bronze serpent, and place it as a sign. Whoever, having been struck, gazes upon it, shall live." Therefore Moses made a bronze serpent, and he placed it as a sign. When those who had been struck gazed upon it, they were healed. And the sons of Israel, setting out, made camp at Oboth. Having departed from there, they pitched their tents at Iye Abarim, in the wilderness, which looks out toward Moab, opposite the eastern region. And moving from there, they arrived at the torrent of Zared. Having left that place behind, they then made camp opposite Arnon, which is in the desert, and which juts out at the borders of the Amorite. For certainly Arnon is at the limit of Moab, dividing the Moabites and the Amorites. About this place it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, "As he did at the Red Sea, so will he do at the torrents of Arnon." The stones of the torrents were bent, so that they might rest in Ar and lie back within the borders of the Moabites. Beyond that place appeared a well, about which the Lord said to Moses, "Gather the people together, and I will give them water." Then Israel sang this verse, "Let the well rise up." They sang, "The well, the leaders dug it, and the commanders of the multitude prepared it at the direction of the lawgiver, and with their staffs. They went from the wilderness to Matana, from Matana to Nahalil, from Nahalil to Bamoth, from Bamoth, a valley in the region of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looks out opposite the desert. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, saying, I beg you to permit me to cross through your land. We will not turn aside into the fields or the vineyards. We will not drink waters from the wells. We will travel by the royal way until we have passed your borders." And he was not willing to allow Israel to cross through his borders, but instead, gathering an army, he went out to meet them in the desert, and he arrived at Jahaz and fought against them. And he was struck down by them with the edge of the sword, and they possessed his land from Arnon, even to Jabbok and the sons of Ammon. For the borders of the Ammonites were held by a strong fortress. Therefore Israel took all his cities and lived in the cities of the Amorite, namely in Heshbon and its villages. Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who fought against the king of Moab. And he took all the land which had been under his sovereignty as far as Arnon. About this it is said in the proverb, "Enter into Heshbon. Let the city of Sihon be established and built. A fire has gone forth from Heshbon, a flame from the town of Sihon, and it has devoured Ar of the Moabites, and the inhabitants of the heights of Arnon. Woe to you, Moab! You are perishing, O people of Chemosh." He gave flight to his sons, and he gave the daughters into captivity to the king of the Amorites, Sihon. Their yoke has been scattered from Heshbon even to Dibon. They have passed through wearily into Nophah and as far as Medeba. And so Israel lived in the land of the Amorite. And Moses sent some to explore Jazer. These captured its villages and possessed its inhabitants. And they turned themselves and ascended along the way of Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, met them with all his people to fight at Edrei. And the Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have delivered him and all his people, as well as his land, into your hand. And you shall do to him just as you did to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, the inhabitant of Heshbon." Therefore they struck him down also with his sons and all his people, even to utter destruction, and they possessed his land. And they set out and made camp in the plains of Moab, across the Jordan, where Jericho is situated. Then Balak, the son of Zippor, seeing all that Israel had done to the Amorite, and that the Moabites had great fear of him, and that they were not able to bear his assault, said to those greater by birth of Midian, "So will this people wipe away all those who are dwelling within our borders, in the same way that the ox is accustomed to tear out grass all the way to the roots." At that time he was king of Moab. Therefore he sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor, a seer who lived above the river of the land of the sons of Ammon, to call him, and to say, "Behold, a people has gone forth from Egypt, which has covered the face of the earth. They are encamped opposite me. Come and curse this people, for they are stronger than I am. If only in some way I might be able to strike them and to drive them from my land. For I know that he whom you bless shall be blessed, and he whom you curse shall be cursed." And the elders of Moab and those greater by birth of Midian continued on, holding the price of divination in their hands. And when they had come to Balaam and had explained to him all the words of Balak, he responded, "Remain for this night, and I will answer with whatever the Lord will say to me." And while they stayed with Balaam, God came and said to him, "What do these men want with you?" He responded, "Balak, the son of Zippor, the king of the Moabites, has sent to me, saying, Behold, a people which has gone forth from Egypt has covered the face of the earth. Come and curse them, so that in some way I may be able to fight them and drive them away. And God said to Balaam, Do not go with them, and do not curse the people, for they are blessed. And he, rising up in the morning, said to the leaders, Go into your own land, for the Lord has prohibited me from going with you. Returning, the leaders said to Balak, Balaam was not willing to come with us. Again, he sent many more persons, and these were more noble than those he had sent before. And when these had come to Balaam, they said, So says Balak, the son of Zippor, Do not hesitate to come to me, for I am ready to honor you, and whatever you would want, I shall give to you. Come and curse this people. Balaam responded, Even if Balak were to give to me his own house, filled with silver and gold, I still would not be able to change the word of the Lord my God, neither to say more, nor to say less. I beg you to remain for this night also, so that I may know what the Lord will answer me again. Therefore, God came to Balaam in the night and said to him, If these men have arrived to call you, then rise up and go with them, yet only in so far as you shall do what I will command you. Balaam rose up in the morning, and saddling his donkey, he set out with them. And God was angry, and an angel of the Lord stood in the way opposite Balaam, who was sitting on the donkey, and he had 2 servants with him. The donkey, discerning that the angel was standing in the way with a drawn sword, turned herself from the road and went through a field. And when Balaam beat her and intended to return her to the path, the angel stood in a narrow place between the 2 walls with which the vineyards were enclosed. And the donkey, seeing this, drew herself close to the wall and scraped the foot of the rider. So he beat her again. And nevertheless, the angel, passing on to a narrow place, where one would not be able to deviate either to the right or to the left, stood to meet him. And when the donkey had seen the angel standing there, she fell under the feet of the rider, who, being angry, struck her sides more vehemently with a club. And the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said, What have I done to you? Why do strike you me? Behold now, for the 3rd time. Balaam responded, Because you have deserved it, and you have mistreated me. If only I had a sword, so that I might pierce you. The donkey said, Am not I your animal, on which you have always been accustomed to sit, even until this present day? Tell me, when did I ever do the same thing to you? But he said, Never. Immediately, the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel standing in the way with a drawn sword, and he reverenced him prone on the ground. And the angel said to him, Why did you beat your donkey 3 times? I have come to be an adversary to you, because your way is perverse and contrary to me. And unless the donkey had turned aside from the way, allowing a place for my opposition, I would have killed you, and she would have lived. Balaam said, I have sinned, not knowing that you stood against me. And now, if it displeases you for me to continue on, I will return. The angel said, Go with them, but be careful not to speak anything other than what I shall instruct you. And so he went with the leaders. And when Balak had heard it, he went out to meet him in a town of the Moabites. which is situated at the furthest borders of Arnon. And he said to Balaam, I sent messengers to call you. Why did you not come to me immediately? Was it because I am not able to pay the cost for your arrival? He answered him, Behold, here I am. Am I able to speak anything other than what God will put into my mouth? Therefore they continued on together, and they arrived at a city which was at the furthest borders of his kingdom. And after Balak had killed oxen and sheep, he sent the gifts to Balaam and to the leaders who were with him. Then when morning arrived, he led him to the heights of Baal, and he gazed upon the most distant portions of the population. And Balaam said to Balak, Build 7 altars here for me, and prepare as many calves and the same number of rams. And when he had acted according to the words of Balaam, they placed a calf and a ram together on each altar. And Balaam said to Balak, Stand for a little while next to your holocaust, until I go, to see if perhaps the Lord will meet with me, and whatever he will command, I shall speak to you. And after he had quickly departed, God met with him, and Balaam, speaking to him, said, I have set up 7 altars, and I have placed a calf and a ram on each. Then the Lord placed the word in his mouth, and he said, Return to Balak, and you shall say this. Returning, he found Balak standing next to his holocaust with all the leaders of the Moabites, and taking up his parable, he said, Balak, king of the Moabites, has led me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. Come forth, he said, and curse Jacob. Hurry and condemn Israel. How shall I curse him, whom God has not cursed? For what reason would I condemn him, whom the Lord does not condemn? I will look upon him from the tops of the stones, and I will consider him from the hills. This people shall dwell alone, and they shall not be counted among the nations. Who can number the dust that is Jacob, and who can know the number of the stock of Israel? May my soul die a just death, and may my end be like theirs. And Balak said to Balaam, What is this that you are doing? I called for you in order to curse my enemies, and to the contrary, you bless them. He answered him, How can I say anything other than what the Lord orders? Therefore Balak said, Come with me to another place, from where you may see a portion of Israel, though you cannot see them all. Curse them from there. And when he had led him to a lofty place on the top of Mount Pisgah, Balaam built 7 altars, and placing upon each a calf and a ram, he said to Balak, Stand here next to your holocaust, while I continue on to meet him. And when the Lord had met him, and had put the word in his mouth, he said, Return to Balak, and you shall say this to him. Returning, he found him standing next to his holocaust, and the leaders of the Moabites were with him. And Balak said to him, What has the Lord spoken? But taking up his parable, he said, Stand, Balak, and pay attention. Listen, you son of Zippor. God is not like a man, so that he would lie, nor is he like a son of man, so that he would be changed. Therefore, having spoken, will he not act? Has he ever spoken and not fulfilled? I was led here to bless, and I have no strength to hinder the blessing. There is no idol in Jacob, neither is there a false image to be seen in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the resound of royal victory is in him. God has led him away from Egypt. His strength is like that of the rhinoceros. There is no soothsaying in Jacob, nor any divination in Israel. In their times it shall be told to Jacob and to Israel what God has wrought. Behold, the people will rise up like a lioness and lie down like a lion, but they will not lie down until they devour the prey and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said to Balaam, Neither curse him nor bless him. And he said, Have I not told you that whatever God would command of me, I would do? And Balak said to him, Come, and I will lead you to another place. If perhaps it may please God, then you may curse them from there. And when he had led him on to the top of Mount Peor, which looks out toward the wilderness, Balaam said to him, Build 7 altars here for me, and prepare as many calves, and the same number of rams. Balak did as Balaam had said, and he placed on each altar a calf and a ram. And when Balaam had seen that it was pleasing to the Lord that he should bless Israel, he by no means went out as he had gone before, to seek divination, but directing his face opposite the desert and lifting up his eyes, he saw Israel dwelling in tents by their tribes, and with the Spirit of God rushing into him, taking up his parable, he said, Balaam, the son of Beor, the man whose eye has been obstructed, the hearer of the sermon of God, he who has gazed upon a vision of the Almighty, he who falls down and so his eyes are opened, has declared, How beautiful are your tabernacles, O Jacob, and your tents, O Israel. They are like forested valleys, like gardens irrigated next to rivers, like tabernacles which the Lord has fixed, like cedars close to waters. Water shall flow from his jar, and his offspring shall be amid many waters, because Agag, his king, shall be taken, and his kingdom shall be removed. Away from Egypt God has led him, whose strength is like the rhinoceros. They shall devour the nations that are his enemies, and break their bones, and pierce them with arrows. Lying down, he has slept like a lion, and like a lioness, whom no one would dare to awaken. He who blesses you shall himself also be blessed. He who curses you shall be considered cursed. And Balak, being angry against Balaam, clapped his hands together and said, I called you to curse my enemies, and to the contrary, you have blessed them 3 times. Return to your place. I had decided indeed to honor you greatly, but the Lord has deprived you of the designated honor. Balaam responded to Balak, Did I not say to your messengers, whom you sent to me, even if Balak would give me his house filled with silver and gold, I still could not go away from the word of the Lord my God, so as to offer anything, either good or evil, from my own heart. But whatever the Lord will speak, this too I shall speak. Yet truly, as I continue on to my own people, I will give you counsel as to what this people shall do to your people in the end times. Therefore, taking up his parable, he again spoke, Balaam, the son of Beor, the man whose eye has been obstructed, the hearer of the sermon of God, he who knows the doctrine of the Most High, and who sees the visions of the Almighty, who, falling down, has his eyes opened, has declared, I shall see him, but not presently. I shall gaze upon him, but not soon. A star shall rise out of Jacob, and a rod shall spring up from Israel, and he shall strike down the commanders of Moab, and he shall devastate all the sons of Seth, and he shall possess Idumea. The inheritance of Seir shall fall to their enemies. Yet truly, Israel shall act with strength. From Jacob will be he who shall be ruler, and he shall perish the remnants of the city. And when he saw Amalek taking up his parable, he said, Amalek, first among the Gentiles, whose very end shall be perdition. Likewise, he saw the Canaanites, and taking up his parable, he said, Robust, indeed, is your habitation. But though you will set your nest in a rock, and you will be elect among the stock of kine, how long will you be able to remain? For Assur shall take you captive. And taking up his parable once more, he said, Alas, who will be able to survive when God will do these things? They shall arrive in Greek warships from Italy. They shall overcome the Assyrians, and they shall devastate the Hebrews. And yet, at the very end, even they themselves shall perish. And Balaam rose up, and he returned to his place. Likewise, Balak went back along the way by which he had arrived. Now Israel, at that time, dwelt in Shittim, and the people were fornicating with the daughters of Moab, who called them to their sacrifices. And they ate, and they adored their gods. And Israel was initiated into Baal of Peor. And so the Lord, being angry, said to Moses, Take all the leaders of the people, and hang them on gallows against the sun, so that my fury may be averted from Israel. And Moses said to the judges of Israel, Let each one kill his neighbors who have been initiated into Baal of Peor. And behold, one of the sons of Israel entered in the sight of his brothers to a prostitute of Midian, within view of Moses and of all the crowd of the sons of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had seen it, he rose up from the midst of the multitude, and seizing a dagger, he entered after the Israelite man into the brothel, and he pierced both of them at the same time, specifically the man and the woman at the location of their genitals. And the scourge ceased from among the sons of Israel, and there were slain 24,000 men. And the Lord said to Moses, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has averted my wrath from the sons of Israel, for he was moved against them by my zeal, so that I myself, in my zeal, might not wipe away the sons of Israel. Because of this, say to him, Behold, I give to him the peace of my covenant, and the covenant of the everlasting priesthood shall be as much for him as for his offspring. For he was zealous on behalf of his God, and he has made expiation for the wickedness of the sons of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite man who was killed with the Midianite woman was Zimri, the son of Salu, a leader from the kinship and tribe of Simeon. Moreover, the Midianite woman who was put to death together with him was called Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, a most noble leader among the Midianites. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Let the Midianites perceive you as enemies, and strike them down, for they, too, have behaved with hostility against you, and they have deceived you insidiously by means of the idol Peor, and by Cosbi, the daughter of a commander of Midian, their sister, who was struck down in the day of the scourge because of the sacrilege of Peor.